So when you think about building great teams, what common things have you seen between LinkedIn and Envision that they do extremely well with building great teams and building high performing teams?
So I'd say both organizations do a really strong job of like understanding what it is that they're offering, right? Like what's the value proposition to an employee joining like a LinkedIn, and in the same vein, like what is it an Envision? And obviously they're two distinctly different organizations and those things will look different, but you've got to understand like what is it that you're offering someone and all of the great things, but I also think you've got to be like super clear on all of the challenges too, and make sure that as you're taking someone through a hiring kind of process, if they arrive on day one, like what they get in the hiring process is exactly what they feel and kind of have expected in that day one experience. So I think both companies do a really good job of like understanding that a little bit in the context of where they are. And again, we've made mistakes, over the last couple of years, built the team really quick. There's definitely things that we've learned over that process, but we've got to make sure that when we're looking for people, the types of people that we hire are going to thrive and love what it is that we have to offer. And that people that understand it and choose to opt out, that's completely cool as well. And so I think definitely some kind of pieces there. And then I think like Envision, and to a certain extent, I think LinkedIn did this well. Like, how do you bring your teams into that process too and give people a feel beyond, say, a hiring manager of like the different types of individuals? Like Envision's got some really strong individuals in our teams and they play a big part in our hiring process. If I think about the last few hires that I've made, part of the feedback that we got from them is they loved the sessions they got with people on my team, right? And that was a real opportunity for them to like dig in on what it's really like. And so I think bringing your employees into that experience and giving candidates that perspective through someone on your team's like experience is another powerful kind of tool for telling that story.
Yeah, let's actually pause on that for a minute and drill into it a little bit more. How are you actually doing that in the candidate experience?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess, we have set criteria through the process that we're interviewing people against. And so let's say a candidate gets to a stage where I've had a couple of conversations and they're doing really strong, but there's an area that I'd love us to continue to kind of dig in on. I'd provide that framework to someone on my team, give them all of the notes, the context, and they would then be equipped to go and have that conversation. But there'd also be a flavor of like, this is a two-way process. And I'm always pushing on candidates to kind of own this experience a little bit too. Like we can do what we can to share our perspectives, but they should be interviewing us as well. And I want candidates coming in eyed wide open to all of the great things and all of the challenges that we face. And I think setting those expectations and creating a framework for people to have them is a great way just to be transparent, give team access to the types of people I'm speaking to. And there's nothing better than an individual on the team coming back and saying, this person's absolute rock star, and having that kind of cultural validation.
That's great. And then you've mentioned multiple times around the candidate is choosing just as much as the company is choosing. And I've seen a couple of the things that you've written about, and you're talking about that two-way experience and the choices on both sides. The candidates have the power, the company has the power, reminding themselves that mutual evaluation process is extremely important. How are you asking questions or what types of questions or examples you're trying to get to make sure the candidate can make that evaluation themselves?
Yeah, no, great question. I guess just speaking openly about some of the specific challenges, right? Like if I think about our sales process here, the designer is so important in our company, right? Like the role of design in businesses, like we want to elevate that voice, and we see the role of design having more and more strategic influence in an organization in terms of like when an organization gets it right, like driving true business outcome. The designer is everything for us, but that's just one stakeholder and several that we have to work through. And our process, beyond simply a champion in design, also will have, a security component and a data privacy component and a legal component. Like the sales process can be long in some of the large organization, and it's complicated.
Yeah.
And then there are some of the cultural norms, like in Germany, for example, like cloud is still a new and challenging kind of technology for a lot of big businesses. And so some of our sales cycles in those markets take a lot longer, and therefore like the resilience to work through that time, but also the discipline to like manage the process and the stakeholders step by step and do all of those leading indicators up until the point that we're able to like work on a partnership with the customer and sign that off. Like those are certain qualities that not every sales environment will have. And I think the more that you can be specific about those types of things and look for evidence and examples of someone being able to kind of work through that in what they've done historically, but also like thrive and enjoy that type of thing versus, you know, other sales cycles that might have fewer stakeholders and a less complicated kind of paper process. And so I think the more that you can be specific on examples in your process and bring that to life for an individual, like I'm almost looking for people to kind of opt in, you know, sell them a little bit against it and see like where the fight is for like, no, this sounds exactly what I'm looking for, rather than overselling too much and, you know, finding that some of this stuff becomes a shock to people.